fact, when you're doing it, you know what you're talking about. And that is easier to control crime. So my submission is that we should go back to a federal system in its real sense, not on paper. And the onus is still on us as Nigerians, me and you, because we complain, oh, our leaders are not good, our leaders are chopping money. Like I said, we know ourselves, but we choose to vote political party. We choose to vote tribe. We choose to vote our religion. Let the Nigerians vote for integrity. The people that come out for elections are people we know. We know people who have integrity. Nigerians should put them into power so that they will lead us and not vote for a particular party because, oh, it's our party, and even they bring the thief, you vote for me. Then we are complaining ourselves, and in doing so, we are complaining our country. So that is my submission. The second round. The only some Nigerians vote for people they believe in, not political parties.
Thank you for that wonderful response. When the military came in, we did things as we knew. We unitized the system. We had things under one boss, under one control. But when we returned power to the politicians, we did not return it the right way.
No, we returned it the right way. They didn't take it over the right way.
They returned it the right way, but the politicians did not take it over the right way. In a sense, the power should have been returned to the people and not to the structure, where there was one boss and that one boss sharing to everybody. However, the power should have been given to the people, the power should have been given to the states, and the resources should have been properly taxed by the federal government for control. Wonderful words by Admiral Madueke on this question. And we've seen how he's been able to draw that value of integrity, one that has been a core value in the NDA from its inception, and it's clearly a value that is needed today. Are we ready for any of the other panelists to please share their own opinion of what value they believe? You feel free to concur with the first speaker today and just share it in your own viewpoint. What values you believe must not be lost for the NDA today? General? Thank you, General.
I just have a few points to make. The shared value that I thought we left behind that we are going to properly observe the recruitment to the NDA. In 1964, most of us that were there an interest in the profession. We didn't go there with any idea of military governance or commissioners or guidance. It was his interest to serve our country. So we took that force of that interest to serve our country, to fight and maintain, defend our territorial integrity. I don't think that what is that value and publicizing into that local institution. And that's why national heritage that we had. I remember when we got to that place in 1960, there was this mortgage or building society.
Mortgage bank.
The
Federal mortgage.
And all of us, you know that we had any previous discussion on this, we were having like minds. We were thinking together. Is that for us, at the end of our time, those relate to others. One, when we retire, we can say, the other one, they go something. We never thought of that. We never thought about grabbing money from everywhere, using this about taking off. I pray that there was something wrong with even at that time. Go to a place, position, and at the end of it all, you have this. It's not only. There are so many things in the court of belief that are not well known. The history code that we have in our books is not known. Well, it's still the very foundation of the military. When we pass out, we have 70 minutes. These minutes came, these minutes arguments came. We live a life of guidance by these philosophies. And so life in those aspects, where you pass out, you know, whether you have money or no money, you also have to miss what. You eat, you drink, you smoke, and you bear the end of the money you are paid. You give me messages. Yeah, I said, in the time I was living, I was still out like that. I saw transportation, general assembly, stand by those, when you have very good. You go to these units and welcome. No life in those areas. And you leave this stuff to destroy. And it's making us as if they are not just as graduation. There are so many things that have gone wrong in this system. Those are don't even do things they should do. And when we look at it, we need to wonder. Going back to what's going on in Nigeria today, I asked myself that the syllabus in India will change. What is it? I don't believe that there was a single Nigeria one. And today, I can only say I'm going to Enugu. I feel that I can go back to the Nigeria. I cannot see with my eyes closed. People wonder why. What was wrong? And where is the where was that? Or why that's it? I commanded the company when I continue. And we used to go through exercises. I will walk out with environment, moderate. who go to the market to buy one dollar or 1 who go to the market to buy one guy, 51, or buy bags, things, and all those things. So, the question is, this is who it is said that, it is said that they have about 300 people who war, who are attack on the place, and there are about 3 or 4 on the machine. When they get their petrol, their meat, trace, and lots of things. So we're not talking about logistics. Where are they getting their logistic supplies to sustain them? And we have military intelligence, army, military intelligence, air force, police, and they are hiding on. Why is that we are not able to cut off their lines of supply? And I believe all of the lines of supply is in the supply. I know there are only laws in South Africa campaign because of one thing, logistics. So people can cut off the line of supply. So this is my contribution that I feel there's something wrong. You can go to Lebanon and make peace there, go to Sierra Leone and make peace there. And I have a very powerful forces. They will come back with one can root and get peace. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We need to return to those who are joining the national interest. Very, very important voice. We need to return to a time where the cadets recruitment is invested in individuals that are there for national interest, not political, not personal minded. We need to revive the spirit of the Corps. I would like to ask if we can get a brief word.
Jagazi, you still have a question? Or contribution?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ifoma Mwapufu, and I would like to thank the generals that just spoke. My question, and I don't know if it should be directed to the first general that spoke about state community policing, the need for policing to start from the grassroots, then to the top. My question is, because I know that there is a dominant argument about policing, community policing, state policing, and it has always been the fact that state governors might use it as a tool, to carry out other activities contrary to what the law provides. So my question is, are there no mechanisms that you think should be put in place to ensure that the police are accountable to the public and they also operate with integrity? Thank you.
Don't mind those grammar statements. It's not true at all. You know why? community. Okay? And the people within the community are recruited within the community itself. They live within the community. So who are they accountable to? The community itself. If that does not happen, then something is wrong with that community. And that's why you have to take police to check. Then, remember too, they are under the state government. And it has been a common story that the state government is used there. Is the federal government using the federal police properly? You're always afraid of people doing what you are doing badly or doing the same. That is why. Let me give you an example. One of the most wasteful things we do in Nigeria is election security. Why? Because as a part of person of meeting, especially people will come. Oh, we are an election in Anambra. We need 25,000 policemen. The army will come and say, we need 10,000. Civil defense, we say we need 15,000. Every single agency we need. When you come to the date of the election, you will not find more than 5,000 policemen out of 25,000. Where does the money go? Disappear. So what happens is that every election period, the money we are using for election increases. At the last count for the vote for 2027, it's going to be about 800 billion naira. Minus the electronic transmission they're talking about now. So for the first time in Nigeria, 2027 election will cost 1 trillion naira, which is not necessary. Why? Because of exactly what you are saying. In India, I went to India. They asked the Indians, see, at the last election in India last year, 900 million people registered to vote. 900 million. Yes. Over 600 million voted. If it was Nigeria would have lost with their present system. What would they do in India and the states? The states manage their own election. They elect their own governor and everybody down the line. It's not their business. Two, the states INEC to conduct presidential election. The states electoral commission help INEC to conduct the election. That is due to cost value. The states are also responsible for their own electoral system. The states and the government police. Now, if you take a community where they are voting, and the community policy comes from that community, they know the worker and the money who are bad people now, and to arrest them because they are in the same community. That is the point. And then they are all those people who are telling all these stories, they are crooks, and I've told some of them to face me, and they let me point to them that they are crooks. They are crooks. Police is refusing to do this sort of thing they are asking for because they are making a lot of money from election security. They are making a lot of money from asking government to do what they are supposed to do. As long as they continue with this system, there is no way we can control crime in Nigeria. No way. But having said that, it's only hypocrisy too. I have not gone to any state in Nigeria where there is no element of community and state police. I have not gone to any state. You see different types of uniforms in the state. For traffic, they are there. For policing, they are there already. The rest is of uniform. It's not hypocrisy to say that we do not have state police. When we started the argument in our hotel, he said we were going to take the state governors to court. And I told the state governors, simple, in lecture. And I said, if I were, you know what I would do? In the federal system, I will you see is from UK to everywhere, every few years they come up what they call a review of the expected architecture. You know what we do is that during the round, you have one room, and then you have another room, and because it's bringing money to those people who are running the house, and running for and adding one room to every other. The police get billions of that. They get nobody's asking them, how do you spend this money that was such a problem of crime in Nigeria? Nobody. Everything is about that. And every time they continue to say that they are not giving them money. The reason is that they haven't got purpose. It's a lie. They spend trillions of naira on modern weapon system for the army, navy, and the air force. At one time, the navy won't know what to do with their ship. They won't know. The air force have aircraft that cost $500 million. What are they doing with it? You know, the point is that they won't allow people to come and talk to the public because they don't need to be exposed. So if anybody tells you about if the government is delayed, I just explained what I was speaking about. In the federal constitution, from the United States to Canada to India, what happens to this is that you have a Inspector General of Police in the midst of Internal Affairs. This is a law for training, for the standards, for evaluation, for monitoring. And it's on this after report to the Minister of Internal Affairs, who is responsible for domestic security and to the President. And when there's an evidence that the government misused, and what you call misuse anyway, as you said before, what you call misuse, that's not happening with the federal government. The government has no control over federal police or any commissioner. Okay. In South Africa, where they have the same system, nobody can choose the commissioner of police without the state government. And the state commissioner of police or provincial commissioner of police report to the state government before they do that. So, in Nigeria, we like confusion and yet that I think we do not agree. That's it. So it's not true. It's not true. I don't know what I'm doing with the
Thank you. Before we bring it to a close, do we have any more comments or statements that one would like to make to join? One at the back. Yeah, one at the back, and I'll take you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, the ex-senior officers that serve Nigeria great. I'm most delighted when Admiral Madueke spoke and brought to bear the issue of the number 10 of 1966. For so many of us, I think it's a take-home. Mine is just a contribution. I think it's a take-home. That we begin to advocate for a restructured nation where the society holds back the development. Each national holds back the development. And I think in 1996, the late Alex advocated for 6 geopolitical zones, which today is not in our constitution, but is operational. So I think to resolve the whole of crisis, we need to advocate for that. Secondly, I think we need to leave this state-centric approach to security and begin to look at it from human security. By 1960, when we had Nigeria, we were less than 50 million. Today, 230 million. With so much poverty ravaging the system, so much migration ravaging the system. Leaving it in the hands of one leader to dictate from the center down to everybody becomes near impossible. And what have we done? Just like General said clearly, our governors at state level have decided to run away from the reality. Each and every one of us are adopting communities of their policing. If you go to a university today to arrest anybody, they'll tell you, wait until you talk to the security men in the university. That's a policing mechanism. If you come to my community, to so many communities, you want to get anybody, they will say, please go and look at the leaders of the community. But the truth is that the governors have refused to take responsibility, and they themselves have equally refused to devote power to the local government channel. Because I believe that if for any reason we were able to take responsibility from the local, we'll begin to look at security from a human-based angle, and not from state-centric security, which breeds corruption, which breeds inefficiency, and which leaves all of us in pain. So I thank you for those that have served Nigeria very well, and I believe that your voice should be amplified, just like Alison Madueke was amplified in 1991. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment. Thank you for those helpful words. Do we have one more? Are we good?
My iconic generals, I will say that it's a privilege here. I will also say that the Nigeria that you dreamt of, and I also dreamt of, is not the Nigeria that we have today, unfortunately. In my first intervention, I was saying that I was confused. I didn't understand. I wanted to know where. I wanted people to give me the idea of where the problem started. Yes. And there are many guys see where the problem with him started. And I think you agree with that. What I would like to add is, if we continue discussing Nigeria the way it is today, we never really come to any conclusion that will make sense. If it is the handover that happened at a particular time that is safe, the handover happened. What was the constitution of Nigeria then? Was it a federal constitution? Who was to hand over the constitution? The problem is, we know what the problems are in Nigeria, but we don't want to really address them and be honest with ourselves. I would say, we need a constitution. We need a constitution written by Nigerians and to fulfill the aspirations of Nigerians. Because constitutions are aspirations, ideals. It's a constitution that will fulfill the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And I think Nigerians want freedom. They want a secular state. Most Nigerians. Now, we put all this in the Constitution and make a Constitution that belongs to this country, not a Constitution made by one or two people. It belongs to the country. If it is done, and even a plebiscite is held on it, the better still. These things are all problems that can be solved. Unfortunately, the government of today cannot wait until these problems are solved. The next problem will be, I think, too, will be elections. How you conduct proper elections that people will believe in. Because to me, up till now, we have not conducted proper elections that people believe in. Transparent. And little countries do it. People normally are cited the issue of India. With that large population of 900 million, I was watching something the other day. The way they do it, without spending too much money, just because they are committed to free fair, credible elections. So a constitution is one of the instruments that allows the country to work. And then proper elections is another instrument that allows the public, general public, to believe in the results being issued by those who lead them. These are two fundamental issues. Then the state police. Now, if all these things are good, what is it that stops us as citizens and as leaders of this country from getting that done and as fast as possible? Again, I'll end up, because like I said, my job used to be to teach. And each time I taught, I always ended up raising questions that I would ask my students to try and provide answers to. So I'll end up with these questions. What do we do about the constitution that belongs to Nigeria? And what do we do about the state police issue, which has been talked about for so long, and which should be implemented, to me, as fast as possible? And then go to the election. And we start from there. The questions of integrity, the policy of people who govern us and all that will follow when the masses, Nigerians, see that the right things are being done. And that's my belief. That's my submission.
Thank you for those words. Gentlemen, ladies, officers, retired. Let's keep all the pleasantries and let's get to the roots of cause and analysis. Today's session has been very deep, has been very blunt, and has been very frank. It's disruptive, if I must say. We've identified the bugs and institutional frameworks that have failed in our system today. Integrity is dropping. Policy distortion is rampant, creating negative ripples not just across the academy, but the entire national ecosystem. We are running on a legacy over-centralized architecture that frankly is causing us to crash under our very own wings. But I'd like us to get the messaging right this morning. Auditing our performance as a nation and as a country is very far from rebellion. Pushing for a system to be upgraded is not at all disloyalty. And institutional introspection is nothing else but good governance and not betrayal of brand. On this, I must say, if we're going to talk about resource control, we have to do so responsibly. Understanding the need to decentralize the control of resources from that of the federal government to that of states. We will have to look inward at our own institution. Recruitment has to be brought back to a standard of national interest and not one of personal gain or political interest. And security has to be taken from the bedrock of community policing. Federal oversight and the restoration of the spirit These fine gentlemen from the regular Cosmon understood these principles. They understood that institutions only survive when integrity is non-negotiable. This isn't about being nostalgic for the good old days. It's about renewal. It's about reform that keeps the country stable. So let the NDA remember its original purpose. Let leadership at every level realize that authority should empower people and not suffocate them. That the Republic is at its safest when our institutions are strong, ethical, and focused on national interest. The foundation is still there, gentlemen. The question isn't whether things will change. It is whether we are going to be the ones to lead that change with discipline and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we have come to the close of our discussion. And I would like us to please stand up and put our hands together for the panelists as they take their part. Thank you. Thank you, Generals. Thank you for this time with you. The conversations have come to a close today, but we have been charged to make our own difference as we leave. There's tea and refreshments at the back so that we can engage in light refreshments and conversations. For anyone who still needs to brush up on their history, on the NDA, the Academy, the members, and the life of those who lived it, behind there's a stand with some books displayed. Please take your time to check that out and see if you're interested in a copy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.